Good morning. Today I'm going to show you how I make double bollards, or as is sometimes called, double bits, for use on a waterfront scene. These would either be on the quay side or, in my case, on the car float. I start off by gluing scraps of styrene sheet to both ends of a piece of plastic rod or plastic tube. I need a whole lot of these, but rather than do them in one batch, I'm going to do them in several small batches. What I don't want to do is take all my nice long pieces of styrene tube and reduce them to short pieces. So that's why I'm working in a few small batches. So once the solvent has been allowed to set up, I have this little jig here, which is 2 pieces of square styrene attached to a piece of sheet. The thickness of this sheet has to be the same as you want the overhang on the top of the bollard. Just insert it in like this, and then I can cut the corners off with my craft knife. Now just keep on going around until nothing sticks out. The closer it can be trimmed in this stage, the better the final result will be. So it's worth taking a little bit of extra time. We're only looking at a few seconds each anyway, or maybe a couple of minutes at most. And then we have almost a circle. Now I take a mill file and I just turn it against it as I slide it down. Getting it as accurate as I possibly can. And then take the top and bottom corners off. And there we have the end. Now I have another little jig. It's a spacer with a plate and a slot that the top of the bollard can go in like that. This fits in my miter box against the stop, and it ensures that I cut all of them exactly the same length. And then all that needs to be done is to attach them to the base. I've already marked out this base and scored it every 13 millimeters because that's how long I decide to make them. And there's 2 done already. I just need about a dozen more. And I just go around with the craft knife, cutting the corners off until very little sticks out. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing there. Try not to get my hand in the way. And that piece has just fallen off. It happens. Let's try again. So eventually, once I've gone all the way around, next step for the calf float is to make the cleats. Now, my photographs that I have of real calf floats show some pretty hefty cleats that are almost as wide as the track. So I'm guessing they're about 4 feet long. So what I've got here is the blanks. I'm building them up on a long strip of 40 thou styrene so that I have something to hold them by. Now, it would appear that the base is made up in 2 layers anyway. So what I've done is I've put a thinner piece on top of this, and I'll just trim it close all the way around after I've finished, leaving a slight step. Then the main body of the cleat here is a piece of 100 by 100 styrene, a scale 2 feet long, followed by a piece of 60 by 80 styrene, a scale 4 feet long. I glued those all together last night, so the solvent has had plenty of time to set up to maximum strength. Now the next step is to shape them with a file. I'm hoping that I can get several cleats looking fairly close to the same as each other. I've got a lot more than I need here, so I will just choose the best ones. Well, I think I figured out the right sequence of shaping these rough blanks into a passable representation of a large cleat. So I've done the end two. What I start off with is the flat mill file, making sure the safe edge is down, and give the whole overall thing a little bit of a boat shape, because the casting needs to be a lot fatter in the middle than it is at the end. So do that, and then I take a square file and do the same on the top surface. Because it's important to remember that there must be no sharp edges that are likely to fray a rope, otherwise it won't do the job properly. And then I use a series of small files to just clean up the corners. Get the end fairly well rounded. Oops, I was doing the wrong one. Then I use a really fine round file and shape the base. And then I've got a file that works quite well under here. I'm just gradually trying to get it into what looks like the right shape, while all the time remembering that I want them to look the same, because on the real thing they'd all be cast out of the same mold. So I want it to look like that. I'm making more than I need, so that I can just choose the ones that look best together. And then when I get to this stage, I've got to file the top down in the middle using my small half round file. I'm not going too far here. I want to leave some of the top bar in the middle, because I have had trouble with them breaking off in the past. And there I've got to clean up that area. we are, there's another one done. What I think I might do now on the rest of them is get them all halfway along and then use my round file to cut the grooves in the top all at the same time. I think that might be easier, so I'm going to try that. Anyway, I will check in with you again later when they're all done.